Hey Pisces, I need to talk to you about something really important that came through in this reading. I just pulled cards for you, and honestly, the energy here is making me want to reach through the screen and shake you awake because there's a situation unfolding around you that you absolutely need to be aware of. Someone is approaching you with what looks like an offer or an opportunity, but Pisces, the cards are showing me that this is not what it appears to be on the surface. There's a hidden agenda here, and it's connected to someone who is actively trying to pull you down into their own mess. I'm getting this heavy, murky energy that feels like someone wearing a friendly mask while holding a knife behind their back. This isn't me being dramatic. This is genuinely what the cards are revealing about the situation you're walking into. Before I dive into the cards, I want you to understand that this reading is protective in nature. The universe is literally putting up red flags all around you right now, trying to get your attention before you make a decision that could have serious consequences for your peace, your progress, and your well-being. You know how Pisces energy is naturally trusting and wants to see the best in people? That beautiful quality of yours is exactly what someone is counting on right now. They're banking on your compassion, your desire to help, your tendency to give people second chances. But this time, Pisces, your kindness is being weaponized against you. Let me start with the first card that came through, and this one immediately set the tone for everything else. I pulled the Two of Wands, and when I saw this card, I got chills because this is showing me someone who is in a position of planning and strategy. The Two of Wands traditionally shows someone standing at a crossroads, looking out at possibilities, holding the world in their hands while contemplating their next move. But in the context of your question and the energy around this reading, this card is revealing someone who has been planning something involving you. This isn't spontaneous. This isn't accidental. This is calculated. The figure in the Two of Wands is looking out over their domain. And I'm seeing that someone in your life or entering your life has been watching you, studying you, figuring out exactly how to approach you in a way that will get you to say yes to whatever they're proposing. They've been thinking about this for a while. Maybe you've noticed someone being unusually interested in your life lately, asking questions that seemed harmless, but were actually gathering information. Or maybe someone has been positioning themselves to be in your orbit more frequently. The Two of Wands shows deliberate planning, and when this card appears in a warning reading like this, it's telling me that you're dealing with someone who has been strategizing about how to use you for their own purposes. What's really concerning here is that the Two of Wands also represents having options and making choices. But in this context, it's showing me that this person is trying to limit your options by presenting their offer or proposal in a way that makes it seem like the only logical choice. They're going to make it sound so reasonable, so beneficial, so perfectly timed that you'll feel like you'd be foolish to say no. They're going to present themselves as having your best interests at heart, as offering you something valuable or important. But Pisces, this is manipulation at its finest. They're framing their trap as an opportunity. I'm seeing that this person has been in a planning phase for quite some time, watching for the perfect moment to approach you. They know things about your situation, your vulnerabilities, your current circumstances. They might know that you've been going through some challenges or that you're at a point where you're open to new opportunities or connections. They've done their homework and now they're ready to make their move. The energy of the Two of Wands here is strategic and calculating, and I need you to understand that when someone approaches you with something that feels convenient or perfectly timed, you need to question it. You need to ask yourself why now, why this, and why you. The position of the Two of Wands in this reading is also showing me that this situation involves a decision point that's coming up soon. You're going to be presented with something that requires a response, a commitment, or an agreement. It might be framed as a partnership, a collaboration, an investment opportunity, or even a personal relationship that could benefit both of you. The language will be all about mutual benefit, shared goals, working together. But underneath that polished presentation is a very different reality. This person needs you for something, and it's not what they're telling you it is. I'm also picking up that the Two of Wands suggests this person sees you as a resource, a means to an end. The way they're holding that globe in the card, examining possibilities, that's how they're viewing you, as a piece on their chessboard that they need to move into position. You're not a person to them in this scenario, you're a solution to their problem. And the problem they're trying to solve involves their own misfortune, their own mistakes, their own consequences that they're desperately trying to avoid or deflect. Now here's where it gets even more intense. The next card I pulled was the Lovers. And when this card shows up in a reading like this, it's not about romance in the traditional sense. The Lovers card is about choices, about relationships, about the bonds we form and the decisions we make based on connection. But in this reading, the Lovers is appearing as a warning about someone who is going to use the appearance of connection, partnership, or genuine care to manipulate you into their scheme. The Lovers card shows two figures, often with a divine presence blessing their union, and it represents harmony, partnership, and mutual respect in its upright, pure form. But when this card appears in a cautionary reading about deception and hidden agendas, it's showing me that someone is going to approach you using the language of partnership and connection while their true intentions are completely self-serving. They're going to make you feel like this is about both of you benefiting, about creating something together, about supporting each other. The energy is going to feel almost intimate, like they're letting you into their inner circle, sharing confidences, making you feel special and chosen. This is particularly dangerous for you, Pisces, because your sign rules the 12th house of hidden things, spirituality, and unconditional love. You want to believe in the best of people. You want to think that when someone opens up to you, shares their struggles, or presents an opportunity for collaboration, they're being genuine. The person approaching you knows this about you. They understand that you respond to emotional appeals, that you have a hard time saying no when someone frames things in terms of need or mutual benefit. The Lovers card here is also suggesting that this person might present this situation as something that could develop into a deeper connection over time. If this is someone you don't know well yet, they might be painting a picture of a future friendship, business partnership, or even romantic connection that could grow from this initial collaboration or agreement. If this is someone you already know, they might be leveraging your existing connection, using your history together or your shared experiences to make you feel obligated or committed to helping them. I'm getting a really strong sense that this person is going to use emotional manipulation tactics. They might share a sob story, present themselves as vulnerable, or create a sense of urgency around their situation that makes you feel like you have to respond, you have to help, you have to say yes, because if you don't, something terrible will happen to them. The Lovers card in this position is warning you that your natural empathy and your desire to be there for others is being targeted and exploited. What's really troubling about the Lovers appearing here is that it suggests this person is going to make everything feel very personal and intimate. They're not going to approach you with a cold, business-like proposal. They're going to connect with you emotionally first. They're going to find common ground, shared interests, mutual friends, or similar experiences. They're going to build rapport and trust, or if they already have your trust, they're going to lean heavily on that existing foundation. The approach is going to feel warm, friendly, maybe even flattering. You might find yourself thinking, wow, this person really gets me, or this person really values what I bring to the table. But here's the thing, Pisces. The Lovers is also the card of choice. And right now, the universe is presenting you with a crucial choice. Do you follow your intuition and maintain healthy boundaries? Or do you ignore the red flags because someone has packaged their manipulation in pretty wrapping paper? This card is reminding you that you have free will here. You are not obligated to say yes to anyone, no matter how they frame their request or offer. You have the power to choose differently, to protect yourself, to walk away from situations that don't feel right even if you can't articulate exactly why. The third card that came through is the Page of Swords, and this is where the reading really starts to reveal the mechanics of what's happening. The Page of Swords is the messenger, the spy, the person who gathers information and communicates with ulterior motives. This card is showing me that there's a communication coming your way, a conversation, a message, an email, a phone call, or some form of contact that's going to be the vehicle for this approach I've been talking about. The Page of Swords has this energy of being mentally sharp, clever, and strategic with words. This person who's approaching you, they're not going to be clumsy or obvious about their manipulation. They're going to be articulate, persuasive, and they're going to have answers prepared for any concerns you might raise. They've thought through potential objections and have rehearsed their responses. If you question anything, they'll have a smooth explanation ready. If you express hesitation, they'll know exactly what to say to overcome it. I'm seeing that the communication itself might seem innocent or even exciting at first. It might start with a casual message, a friendly check-in, or an interesting piece of information they want to share with you. The Page of Swords is showing me that this person is testing the waters, gauging your receptiveness before they make their real pitch. They're being strategic about how they approach you, starting small and building up to the bigger ask. The Page of Swords also carries this energy of surveillance and information gathering. This suggests that before this person even makes contact with you, they've been collecting information about you. They might have been asking mutual friends about your situation, checking your social media to see what you're up to, or paying attention to things you've shared publicly about your life, your goals, your challenges, or your interests. They're using this information to craft an approach that will resonate with you specifically. What's particularly concerning about the Page of Swords in this reading is that this card can represent someone who is intellectually manipulative. They're going to use logic, facts, figures, or seemingly reasonable arguments to support their proposition. They might present what looks like a solid plan, with details and specifics that make everything seem legitimate and well thought out. But the Page of Swords reversed energy that I'm picking up underneath suggests that these facts might be distorted. The plan might have holes they're not showing you, and the reasonable exterior is covering up some very unreasonable expectations or risks. This card is also warning you about gossip or information being spread about you. The Page of Swords can indicate that someone has been talking about you to others, potentially setting up a situation where multiple people are involved in whatever scheme is unfolding. There might be other players in this drama that you're not aware of yet. The person approaching you might not be working alone. They could be part of a group or connected to others who have their own stakes in getting you to agree to whatever they're proposing. The energy of the Page of Swords is making me want to tell you to be extremely careful about what you share in any conversations with this person. Don't give them more information than necessary. Don't fill in blanks or answer questions that seem too probing. This person is skilled at extracting information, and anything you tell them will be analyzed and potentially used in ways you're not anticipating. Keep your cards close to your chest, Pisces. You're naturally open and sharing, but this is a time to be more guarded than usual. Now we come to the Two of Cups, and this card is making my skin crawl in the context of this reading because the Two of Cups is traditionally one of the most beautiful cards in the deck, representing genuine partnership, mutual attraction, balanced giving and receiving, and emotional harmony. But appearing here after the cards we've already discussed, the Two of Cups is showing me that this person is going to fake emotional connection with you. They're going to mirror your energy, pretend to have the same values, act like you're kindred spirits who just understand each other on a deep level. The Two of Cups shows two people facing each other, cups raised, in a moment of mutual recognition and respect. There's often imagery suggesting a blessing or sacred union. But in this reading, that sacred imagery is being profaned by someone who is using the appearance of sacred connection for profane purposes. They're going to act like meeting you or reconnecting with you is somehow fated, meaningful, or divinely orchestrated. They might use spiritual language if they know you respond to that, or they might frame things in terms of synchronicity and perfect timing. This card is showing me that the offer or approach you're going to receive will be framed as something that benefits both of you equally. The Two of Cups is about balance and reciprocity, and this person is going to work very hard to make you believe that this situation is balanced, that you're both bringing equal value, that you're both taking equal risks, and that you'll both reap equal rewards. But Pisces, the cards are screaming at me that this is a lie. The balance is an illusion. The reciprocity is fake. You're going to be giving way more than you're receiving, taking on risks that this person is trying to avoid, and any rewards that materialize are going to go predominantly to them while you're left holding the bag. The Two of Cups can also represent a contract or agreement between two parties. I'm getting a strong sense that there might be some kind of formal or informal agreement involved in this situation. This person might want you to sign something, commit to something, put your name on something, or make some kind of binding agreement. The energy here is warning you to read the fine print, to understand exactly what you're agreeing to, and to recognize that the verbal promises they're making might not match what you're actually committing to. What's really manipulative about the Two of Cups appearing here is that this person is going to make you feel good about saying yes. They're going to create this warm, positive emotional experience around the whole interaction. You're going to feel appreciated, valued, seen, and understood. They're going to celebrate your contribution, praise your qualities, and make you feel like you're doing something meaningful and important. This positive emotional association is designed to override your logical mind and your intuitive warnings. The Two of Cups is also making me see that this person might present themselves as wanting to help you with something. They might frame their offer or approach as being primarily for your benefit, solving your problem, addressing your needs. But in reality, they're using your situation as a way to entangle you in theirs. It's like someone offering to help you move, but when you show up, you realize they actually need you to help them move their entire house. And oh, by the way, you're also co-signing their new lease and fronting the deposit. I'm picking up really strongly that the Two of Cups here is about emotional manipulation through the appearance of care and mutual support. This person might already be in your life, someone you've helped before or had positive interactions with. They're counting on that history of good feeling to make you more receptive to their current request. Or if they're new to your life, they're going to speed run the trust building process, creating artificial intimacy very quickly so that you feel connected to them before you've actually had time to really know who they are. The fifth card is the Page of Pentacles, and this is where we start to see the material aspect of what's being proposed. The Page of Pentacles represents new opportunities in the material world, learning, apprenticeship, messages about money or resources, and the beginning stages of a practical venture. In a positive reading, this would be exciting news about a financial opportunity, a learning experience that could lead to material growth, or a chance to develop new skills that have practical applications. But in this reading, surrounded by all these warning cards, the Page of Pentacles is revealing the bait. This person is going to approach you with something that looks like a material opportunity. It might be framed as a business venture, an investment opportunity, a chance to make money, a way to improve your financial situation, or access to resources you need. The Page of Pentacles energy is going to make this feel like a beginner-level opportunity, something you can handle, something that doesn't require too much from you initially, something that seems low risk with potential for growth. The Page of Pentacles is showing me that this person is going to emphasize the practical benefits of whatever they're proposing. They're going to talk about money, stability, security, resources, or material gain. If you've been struggling financially, or if you've been looking for ways to improve your material situation, they somehow know this, and they're going to position their offer as the answer to your prayers. The timing is going to seem perfect, almost too perfect. What's really insidious here is that the Page of Pentacles can represent someone who is learning, studying, or in an apprentice role. I'm getting the sense that this person might present themselves as being in a learning phase themselves, perhaps positioning you as someone with more knowledge, experience, or resources who can help guide them. They might make you feel like a mentor or teacher, appealing to your ego and your desire to help others grow. But this dynamic is designed to make you let your guard down and take on responsibilities or risks that should be theirs alone. The Page of Pentacles is also a messenger card, similar to the Page of Swords we saw earlier. This reinforces that there's going to be a specific communication, message, or proposal coming your way that involves material or financial matters. You might receive an email with a business proposal, a text about an investment opportunity, a call about a partnership, or even a formal letter or document outlining some kind of venture. Whatever form it takes, the Page of Pentacles is telling you that the message will focus heavily on the practical, material benefits you'll supposedly gain. I'm seeing that the Page of Pentacles here suggests that this opportunity or offer is in its early stages, which means they need your resources, your participation, or your commitment to get it off the ground. They're coming to you because they can't do this alone. They don't have what they need alone, and they need you to fill in the gaps. But here's the critical thing, Pisces. Those gaps they want you to fill, those are the parts where the risk lies. They're asking you to put in money, time, resources, your name, your credit, your reputation, or your energy into something that primarily benefits them while exposing you to potential loss. The Page of Pentacles can also represent someone who is naive or inexperienced in material matters, and I'm getting two possible interpretations here. Either this person is genuinely inexperienced and doesn't fully understand the risks they're asking you to take on with them, which means you'd both be going down together if things go wrong, or they're pretending to be inexperienced and naive as part of their manipulation, playing dumb about the real nature of what they're involving you in so that you can't hold them fully accountable later when everything falls apart. The sixth card that appeared is the Star, and seeing this card in this reading is almost painful because the Star is such a beautiful, hopeful card. The Star represents hope, inspiration, healing, renewal, faith in the future, and divine guidance. It's the card that appears after the Tower, symbolizing that even after destruction and chaos, there's still hope and beauty ahead. The Star is about believing in better days, having faith in the universe, and trusting that you're being guided toward your highest good. But in this reading, the Star is showing me how this person is going to sell their proposition to you. They're going to wrap it in hope, inspiration, and possibility. They're going to paint a picture of a beautiful future, a dream realized, a wish fulfilled. They're going to talk about this being your chance, your moment, your opportunity to reach for the stars. The language is going to be inspiring, uplifting, and filled with positive vision. They're going to make you feel like saying yes to this is saying yes to your dreams, to your potential, to the life you've been hoping for. The Star is your card, Pisces. Your sign is associated with dreams, intuition, spirituality, and faith in the unseen. This person knows this about Pisces energy, and they're going to use spiritual or inspirational language to appeal to your nature. They might talk about manifestation, about the universe bringing you together, about this being meant to be, about following your dreams and taking leaps of faith. They're going to push all the buttons that they know make Pisces energy respond positively. What makes this particularly manipulative is that the Star is also about healing. This person might present their offer or this connection as something that will heal old wounds, help you recover from past difficulties, or give you a fresh start after challenging times. If you've been through some rough situations recently, they're aware of this, and they're going to position themselves or their opportunity as the rainbow after your storm. The Star's promise of renewal and hope is being weaponized to make you vulnerable to their approach. The Star also represents faith and trust, and this is where the manipulation gets really deep. This person is going to ask you to have faith in them, to trust them, to believe in their vision or their plan, even if all the details aren't clear yet. They're going to frame any hesitation or doubt you have as lack of faith, as being too cynical, as not being open to the universe's gifts. They might even suggest that if you don't take this opportunity, you're somehow blocking your own blessings or rejecting what the universe is trying to give you. This is spiritual manipulation, and it's particularly effective against Pisces, who tend to be spiritual seekers who value faith and trust. I'm seeing that the Star here is showing me that this person is going to present themselves as your star, your guiding light, your source of hope in a difficult time. They're going to position themselves as someone who can help you reach your dreams or achieve your goals. But Pisces, stars don't actually come down to earth. They stay in the sky, distant and beautiful, but untouchable. This person is presenting you with a mirage, a beautiful vision that looks real, but is actually just light reflecting off something that doesn't exist in the way they're claiming it does. The Star is also about inspiration and creativity, and I'm getting that this person might appeal to your creative side or your spiritual interests. They might present this opportunity as something that aligns with your values, your beliefs, or your creative vision. They're going to make it seem like this is about more than just money or practical concerns. It's about meaning, purpose, and creating something beautiful in the world. This is designed to bypass your practical mind and appeal directly to your idealistic, visionary nature. Now let me pull back the curtain completely with the Knight of Cups, because this card is revealing the persona that this person is going to adopt when they approach you. The Knight of Cups is the romantic, the charmer, the person who rides in on a white horse with promises of love, beauty, and emotional fulfillment. In a genuine reading, this card represents someone who is emotionally sincere, romantically inclined, and genuinely caring. But in this reading, the Knight of Cups is showing up as the mask this person is wearing. The Knight of Cups approaches slowly, gracefully, with their cup extended like an offering. They come bearing gifts, promises, and romantic ideals. They're poetic, charming, and emotionally expressive. They make grand gestures and speak in flowery language. They seem to be offering you something from their heart, something precious and valuable. But Pisces, the Knight of Cups in this context, is showing me that this is all performance. This person has studied what works on you emotionally, and they're delivering that performance perfectly. What's really concerning is that the Knight of Cups can represent someone who is so caught up in their own fantasy or their own emotional needs that they're not actually considering your reality or your well-being. Even if this person believes their own story, even if they've convinced themselves that what they're offering you is real and valuable, the card is showing that there's a disconnect between their romantic vision and the practical reality of what they're actually involving you in. The Knight of Cups is also showing me that this person is going to take their time with you. Knights are on journeys, they're not in a rush. This person is going to court you, so to speak, even if this isn't a romantic situation. They're going to invest time and energy into winning you over, making you feel special, building that connection. They're going to be patient, persistent, and emotionally attentive. They're going to remember details about what you've told them, follow up on things you mentioned caring about, and generally make you feel seen and valued. This is all part of the seduction. The cup the Knight carries can represent an offer, a gift, or a proposal, but I'm getting that what's actually in that cup is not what they're telling you it is. The cup might look beautiful, might be presented beautifully, might be offered with sincere seeming emotion, but the contents are not what you're being promised. This could manifest as a situation where what they're offering sounds amazing in theory, but in practice turns out to be completely different, or where the benefits they promise never actually materialize. I'm also seeing that the Knight of Cups suggests this person might use romantic or emotional language, even in contexts where it's not appropriate. If this is a business proposition, they might talk about it like a relationship, using words like partnership, commitment, loyalty, trust. They're blurring boundaries between emotional connection and practical arrangement, because that confusion makes it harder for you to think clearly about what you're actually agreeing to. The eighth card is the Ace of Pentacles, and this is the hook. The Ace of Pentacles is the most promising card in the material suit, representing new financial opportunities, material manifestation, prosperity, abundance, and tangible rewards. This card shows a hand emerging from a cloud offering a golden pentacle, a gift from the universe. In normal readings, this is a blessing, a genuine opportunity, a real chance for material improvement. But appearing in this reading, after everything we've seen, the Ace of Pentacles is showing me that this is how they're going to frame their offer. They're going to present this as your Ace of Pentacles moment, your chance to receive material blessing, your opportunity to manifest abundance. The way they talk about this opportunity, it's going to sound like exactly what you've been waiting for, praying for, hoping for. The timing, the packaging, the presentation, it's all going to feel like a genuine gift from the universe. The Ace of Pentacles represents new beginnings in the material realm, and I'm seeing that this person is going to emphasize the new aspect. This is going to be presented as a fresh start, a new chapter, a chance to begin something that could lead to long-term material security. If you've been stuck or struggling, they're going to position this as your way out, your path forward, your new beginning. The energy of hope and renewal that comes with aces is going to be leveraged to make you feel excited and optimistic about what's being offered. What's really dangerous about the Ace of Pentacles appearing here is that it represents potential. Aces are about pure potential, the seed before it becomes a tree. This person is going to sell you on the potential of their offer, not the reality. They're going to paint pictures of what this could become, what this might lead to, what could happen if everything goes well. But potential isn't guaranteed. Seeds don't always grow into trees. Many seeds never sprout at all. The Ace of Pentacles is showing me that they're asking you to invest in potential while taking on very real, very immediate risks and responsibilities. The hand offering the pentacle in this card comes from a cloud, suggesting divine providence or universal blessing. I'm getting that this person might use language suggesting that this opportunity is somehow divinely ordained, cosmically aligned, or spiritually significant. They might point to signs, synchronicities, or coincidences that make it seem like the universe itself is endorsing this collaboration. Pisces, this is manipulation of your spiritual nature. The universe doesn't need human middlemen to deliver your blessings, and real opportunities don't need to be sold with spiritual pressure tactics. The Ace of Pentacles can also represent an actual offer of money, investment, or financial opportunity. I'm seeing that there might be talk of money changing hands, investments being made, profits being shared, or financial arrangements being set up. The numbers might sound good, the percentages might look attractive, the potential returns might seem worth the risk. But remember every card we've pulled before this. The offer itself might be real, but what you're not being told about the risks, the strings attached, the hidden costs, and the real nature of what you're signing up for is where the danger lies. The ninth card, and this is where everything gets crystal clear, is the Nine of Swords. The Nine of Swords is the nightmare card, the anxiety card, the card of mental anguish and deep worry. This card shows someone sitting up in bed in the middle of the night, head in hands, tormented by thoughts and fears. The Nine of Swords represents the moment when you realize something is terribly wrong, when you can't sleep because of worry, when anxiety has taken over your mental space. This card is showing me the outcome if you say yes to this offer, if you get involved with this person, if you allow yourself to be pulled into their situation. The Nine of Swords is revealing that what seems like an opportunity now will become a source of deep regret, worry, and mental anguish later. You're going to lie awake at night wondering how you got into this situation, how you didn't see the signs, how you let yourself be manipulated into something that's now causing you so much stress and worry. The Nine of Swords often appears when we're dealing with consequences of decisions that seemed fine at the time, but turned out to be terrible. It's the card of buyer's remorse multiplied by 1,000. It's waking up at 3 in the morning with your heart pounding, running through scenarios in your head, trying to figure out how to get out of something you never should have gotten into in the first place. This is what's waiting for you if you ignore all these warnings, Pisces. I'm seeing that the Nine of Swords represents not just worry about money or material loss, although that's certainly part of it. This card is about the mental and emotional toll of being entangled in someone else's problems, someone else's karma, someone else's mess. You're going to feel trapped, anxious, and deeply regretful. The stress is going to affect your sleep, your health, your peace of mind. You're going to be constantly worried about when the other shoe is going to drop, when the real consequences are going to hit, when the truth of the situation is going to be fully revealed. The Nine of Swords also suggests isolation and feeling alone with your worries. When things go wrong, when the reality becomes clear, this person who was so charming and present in the beginning is going to be nowhere to be found. Or they're going to minimize your concerns, gaslight you about what was actually agreed to, or blame you for the outcome. You're going to feel like you're carrying the weight of this situation alone, even though it was supposed to be a partnership or mutual benefit arrangement. What's particularly painful about the Nine of Swords is that it represents self-blame and regret. You're going to be angry at yourself for not listening to your intuition, for ignoring red flags, for letting yourself be manipulated. The mental anguish isn't just about the situation itself, but about your role in allowing it to happen. This card is showing me that future version of you, lying awake at night, replaying every conversation, every sign you missed, every moment where you could have said no but didn't. The final card, the 10th card in this reading, is the King of Pentacles, and this reveals who this person thinks they are or who they're presenting themselves as. The King of Pentacles is the ultimate material success card, representing someone who is established, wealthy, successful, practical, and capable in the material world. This is someone who has built something substantial, who knows how to manage resources, who has proven their ability to create and maintain material abundance. This card is showing me that the person approaching you is going to present themselves as having authority, expertise, and success in material matters. They're going to talk about their past successes, their business acumen, their connections, their resources. They're going to position themselves as someone who knows what they're doing, who has a track record, who has credibility. They want you to see them as the King of Pentacles so that you'll trust their judgment, follow their lead, and believe in their ability to deliver on their promises. But here's the thing, Pisces. If this person was actually a King of Pentacles, if they actually had the resources, success, and capability they're claiming, they wouldn't need you in the way they're saying they do. Real Kings of Pentacles don't approach people with desperate offers or time-sensitive opportunities that require quick decisions. They don't use emotional manipulation or spiritual pressure. They operate with stability, patience, and solid foundations. The appearance of the King of Pentacles at the end of this reading, after the Nine of Swords, is showing me that this person's self-image, or the image they're projecting, is completely disconnected from their reality. They might genuinely believe they're a King of Pentacles. They might have convinced themselves that they're just one good opportunity away from reclaiming that status. Or they might be consciously lying, presenting themselves as more successful, more established, more capable than they actually are. I'm also getting that the King of Pentacles here represents what they're promising you that you'll become if you join them in this venture. They're going to paint a picture of you achieving King of Pentacles status, becoming materially successful, secure, and abundant through this opportunity. They're using your own desires for stability and material success as the carrot to lead you into their trap. The King of Pentacles can also represent someone who is controlling, especially with material resources. Once you're entangled in this situation, once you've committed resources or made agreements, this person might become controlling about how things are managed, how decisions are made, or how any profits or resources are distributed. The benevolent mentor or partner persona might shift to something much more domineering and self-serving once they've got you locked in. Pisces, let me bring all of this together for you because the message is urgent and clear. Someone is approaching you or about to approach you with what looks like an attractive offer or opportunity. This person has been planning this approach. They've gathered information about you. They know what buttons to push. They're going to present themselves as charming, emotionally connected to you, successful, and capable. They're going to frame their offer in terms of mutual benefit, partnership, and shared success. They're going to use inspiring language, spiritual concepts, and appeals to your dreams and hopes. But underneath all of that beautiful packaging is a trap. This person is trying to drag you into their own misfortune, their own problems, their own karma. They're facing consequences for their own actions or decisions, and they're looking for someone to share the burden with them, or more accurately, to transfer the burden to. They see you as the solution to their problem, and they're willing to manipulate, deceive, and perform whatever role necessary to get you to say yes. The cards are showing that if you get involved in this situation, you're going to end up deeply regretful, anxious, and mentally tormented. Whatever material benefits they promise are not going to materialize in the way they describe, and you're going to be left holding responsibility for problems that were never yours to begin with. This isn't about you being paranoid or overly suspicious. This is about you being wise and protected. I want you to understand something really important here, Pisces. Your natural compassion, your desire to help others, your spiritual nature, your faith in people, these are beautiful qualities. These are gifts. But someone is trying to turn your gifts into weapons against you. They're counting on you being too kind to say no, too spiritual to question their motives, too compassionate to protect your own boundaries. They're banking on your Pisces nature, and that should make you angry, not guilty. You might be wondering who this person is, how to identify them when they show up. The cards are giving me some clues about how to recognize this situation when it presents itself. First, pay attention to timing. If someone approaches you with an opportunity that feels perfectly timed to your current situation, that should be a red flag, not a green light. Real opportunities don't usually arrive with perfect cosmic timing. That's something humans manufacture to create a sense of urgency and fate. Second, Watch for emotional intensity that doesn't match the actual relationship or the practical nature of what's being discussed. If someone you barely know is being very emotionally expressive, creating intimacy quickly, or using language that feels disproportionately deep for your actual connection, that's manipulation. If someone you do know is suddenly much more emotionally available or expressive than they've been historically, ask yourself what changed and why now. Third, notice if someone is gathering information about you before making their pitch. Are they asking questions that seem casual but are actually quite probing? Are they showing unusual interest in your financial situation, your current challenges, your dreams, and goals? Are they positioning themselves to be around you more, to know more about your life? Information gathering before an ask is a classic manipulation tactic. Fourth, be alert to spiritual or inspirational language being used in contexts where practical language would be more appropriate. If someone is talking about business or money but using words like destiny, manifestation, divine timing, or cosmic alignment, they're trying to bypass your logical mind and appeal to your spiritual nature. Real business opportunities are discussed in business terms. Manipulation gets dressed up in spiritual clothing. Fifth, watch for pressure around timing or decision-making. If someone is creating urgency, suggesting that this opportunity won't wait, implying that you'll miss out if you don't decide quickly, or making you feel like you're being difficult or overthinking by wanting time to consider, that's a major red flag. Legitimate opportunities can withstand scrutiny and reasonable consideration time. Scams and manipulations require quick decisions before you have time to think clearly or consult others. Sixth, notice if someone is isolating you or discouraging you from getting outside input. If they suggest that other people won't understand, that you shouldn't tell certain people about this opportunity, that outsiders might be jealous or negative, or that this needs to be kept private for now, they're trying to cut you off from people who might see through their game and warn you. Real opportunities can withstand outside perspective. Manipulations need to happen in isolation. Seventh, pay attention to whether someone is trying to make you feel obligated or guilty about saying no. If they're framing a no as you being unsupportive, untrusting, lacking faith, or somehow failing them, that's emotional manipulation. You never owe anyone access to your resources, your time, your energy, or your commitment, regardless of how they frame their request or what emotional buttons they try to push. Now, let me talk about the specific nature of the misfortune they're trying to drag you into, because the cards have given me some insights about this. This isn't just about someone wanting to borrow money or get help with a simple problem. This is about someone who is facing consequences, potentially serious ones. They might be in debt, facing legal issues, dealing with the fallout from their own poor decisions, or trying to avoid accountability for something they've done. The energy I'm picking up suggests that this person has burned bridges, exhausted other options, or run out of people willing to help them. You're not their first choice, you're one of their last choices, which is why they're being so strategic and manipulative about how they approach you. If they could solve this problem without involving you, they would. The fact that they're coming to you means they're somewhat desperate, even if they're hiding that desperation behind a polished presentation. I'm also getting that whatever they're involving you in has legal or official implications. This might involve contracts, financial agreements, paperwork with your name on it, or situations where you could be held legally or financially responsible for outcomes. The Two of Cups and the Ace of Pentacles together suggest agreements and material arrangements that have binding consequences. If anyone asks you to sign anything, co-sign anything, put your name on any accounts or documents, or make any kind of official commitment, you need to run, not walk, away from this situation. The combination of the Page of Swords and the Nine of Swords is particularly concerning because it suggests that information you don't have, details they're not sharing, or fine print you're not seeing is going to be the source of your future anguish. What they're not telling you is more important than what they are telling you. The gaps in their story, the questions they deflect, the details they gloss over, that's where the trap is hidden. I want to address something that might be going through your mind right now, Pisces. You might be thinking about someone specific and wondering if this reading is about them, or you might be thinking this doesn't apply to you because you're good at reading people, or you might be feeling scared that you won't recognize the situation when it comes. Let me ease your mind about that last part. You will recognize it. Your intuition is already activated by this reading. When this person or situation shows up, you're going to feel a ping of recognition, a moment of, oh, this is what that reading was about. Trust that feeling. Don't talk yourself out of it. Don't let someone convince you that you're being paranoid or overthinking. Your intuition is your most powerful protection, and right now it's being reinforced and amplified by these cards. The universe has given you advance warning, which is a gift. Most people have to learn these lessons the hard way, by getting involved and then suffering the consequences. You're being given the chance to see the trap before you step in it. If you're thinking about someone specific right now, someone who has already approached you or someone who has been positioning themselves in your life, I want you to take a step back and look at that situation with fresh eyes. Review your interactions with this person. Have there been any of the red flags I mentioned? Has anything felt slightly off, even if you couldn't articulate why? Have they been gathering information, building intimacy quickly, using emotional or spiritual language inappropriately, or creating any sense of urgency or obligation? If the answer is yes to any of those questions, you need to create distance and protect yourself. It doesn't matter if you're wrong. It doesn't matter if you offend them. It doesn't matter if they think you're being cold or unreasonable. Your well-being is more important than anyone's feelings, including your own discomfort with setting boundaries or saying no. Better to be wrong and safe than right and sorry. Now let's talk about how to protect yourself when this situation arises, because practical strategies are just as important as spiritual awareness. First, slow everything down. Whatever time frame they're suggesting, whatever urgency they're creating, ignore it. Take the time you need to think, research, consult others, and make a decision from a grounded place rather than an emotional or pressured place. Real opportunities don't evaporate because you took a week to think about them. Second, get outside perspective from people who have no stake in the situation and no connection to the person making the offer. Talk to a trusted friend who will be honest with you, a family member who has good judgment, or even a professional like a lawyer or financial advisor if the situation involves legal or financial elements. Describe the situation factually without the emotional coloring the other person has added, and see what these objective parties think. Third, do your own research and due diligence. If this person is claiming business success, professional credentials, or a track record of achievements, verify those claims independently. Google them, check public records, look at their social media history, see if their story holds up under scrutiny. If they're proposing a business venture or investment, research the industry, the market, the claims they're making about potential returns or opportunities. Fourth, watch for their reaction when you ask questions, express concerns, or want to slow down. A person with genuine intentions will welcome your questions, understand your need for time and information, and respect your boundaries. A manipulator will push back, create more pressure, make you feel bad for being cautious, or try to steamroll over your concerns. Their reaction to your healthy self-protection will tell you everything you need to know about their true intentions. Fifth, trust your body. Your body often knows before your mind catches up. If you feel tense, anxious, or uncomfortable in someone's presence or when discussing their proposal, that's information. If you feel drained after interacting with them, if you feel confused or overwhelmed by the situation, if you feel pressured or rushed, your body is sending you signals. Don't override those signals with mental rationalization about why you should ignore what you're feeling. Sixth, be willing to say no without explanation, justification, or apology. You don't owe anyone a detailed explanation for why you're declining their offer. A simple statement like, "I've thought about it and this isn't right for me," or "I'm not interested in pursuing this," is complete. If they push for reasons, ask why repeatedly, or make you feel obligated to justify your decision, that's more evidence that this is manipulation rather than legitimate opportunity. Seventh, if you've already said yes to something or gotten involved with someone and you're now recognizing red flags, it's not too late to extract yourself. You can change your mind, back out of agreements, withdraw your participation, or end relationships that are not serving you. Yes, it might be uncomfortable. Yes, they might be upset or try to guilt you, but temporary discomfort is infinitely better than long-term misery and the consequences of staying in a destructive situation. I'm also getting guidance about protecting your energy and space in a more spiritual sense, Pisces. You're naturally energetically sensitive and porous. You absorb energy from others easily, which is part of what makes you compassionate and intuitive, but it also makes you vulnerable to energy vampires and manipulators. Right now, you need to strengthen your energetic boundaries and your psychic protection. Visualize yourself surrounded by a protective light or shield that allows positive energy in but keeps out manipulative, draining, or harmful energy. When you're around people or in situations that feel off, consciously reinforce this protection. You can do this through prayer, meditation, visualization, or whatever spiritual practice resonates with you. The key is setting the intention that you're protected from manipulation, deception, and people who mean you harm. Also pay attention to your dreams right now. Pisces is naturally connected to the dream realm, and your subconscious might give you additional information or warnings through your dreams. If you have dreams about people in your life, pay attention to the feeling and symbolism of those dreams. Your dreaming mind might show you things your waking mind is trying to rationalize away. I want to talk about the emotional aftermath you might experience around this situation, because even just receiving this warning reading might bring up feelings. You might feel scared, anxious, or paranoid. You might feel sad that you have to be so guarded when you'd rather be open and trusting. You might feel angry that someone would try to manipulate you this way. You might feel confused about who to trust or how to navigate social situations now. All of these feelings are valid and normal. What you're learning right now is discernment, which is different from distrust. Distrust is closing yourself off from everyone and everything. Discernment is developing the wisdom to distinguish between genuine and false, between safe and dangerous, between authentic and performative. You can maintain your beautiful, compassionate, open-hearted nature while also having healthy boundaries and protective discernment. These things are not opposites, they're partners. This situation, as challenging and concerning as it is actually an opportunity for tremendous growth. You're being called to develop stronger boundaries, clearer discernment, and more confidence in protecting yourself. You're learning that you can be kind without being exploitable, compassionate without being a doormat, spiritual without being naive. These are lessons that will serve you for the rest of your life in all kinds of relationships and situations. The cards are also showing me that saying no to this situation, protecting yourself from this manipulation, is going to open up space for real opportunities and genuine connections. Sometimes we have to clear out the false before the real can arrive. By refusing to be dragged into someone else's misfortune, you're keeping your energy clear and available for actual blessings, legitimate opportunities, and people who genuinely care about your well-being rather than seeing you as a resource to exploit. I know this reading has been intense and probably scary. That wasn't my intention in terms of wanting to frighten you, but it was absolutely my intention to wake you up to a real danger that's approaching or already present in your life. Sometimes the most loving thing we can do for someone is tell them the hard truth. Give them the warning they need, even if it's uncomfortable or alarming. I'd rather you be alert and protected than comfortable and vulnerable. Remember that you have free will and choice in every situation. No matter how convincing someone is, no matter how perfect their timing seems, no matter how emotionally or spiritually they frame their approach, you always have the power to say no. You always have the right to protect yourself. You always have the option to walk away from situations that don't serve you, even if you can't fully articulate why they feel wrong. Your intuition is your superpower, Pisces. It's not about paranoia or suspicion. It's about tuning into subtle energy and information that your logical mind might miss. When something feels off, trust that feeling. When someone's words and energy don't match, believe the energy. When you feel pressured, uncomfortable, or confused in a situation that's being presented as positive, honor that inner knowing that something isn't right. The universe has your back, and that's why these cards came through so clearly and urgently. You're being protected, you're being warned, you're being given the information you need to avoid a painful situation. Take this warning seriously. Stay alert. Trust yourself. Protect your resources, your energy, and your peace. And know that by doing so, you're not being unkind or untrusting. You're being wise. So Pisces, as you move forward from this reading, I want you to walk with awareness and protection. Be alert to the red flags I've described. Trust your intuition when it whispers warnings. Don't let anyone pressure you into quick decisions. Get outside perspective on opportunities that seem too perfectly timed or too good to be true. Verify claims and do your own research. Watch how people react to your boundaries and questions. And most importantly, remember that saying no to what's wrong creates space for what's right. You are loved, you are protected, and you are being guided. Trust the process, trust yourself, and trust that by honoring this warning, you're aligning with your highest good and avoiding a painful lesson that you don't need to learn the hard way. Stay safe, stay aware, and stay true to yourself.